I've spoken about my relationship with Ralphie DiMatteo in the past. During my time, Ralphie was a newly inducted member with the Colombos, and back in September 2021, following a Colombo indictment, he was listed as the family's Consigliere. Back then, Ralphie and I would meet all the time. He lived in Merrick, and I was living in Levittown. Both areas are in close proximity to each other. We would talk a lot, and being Ralphie was originally a Brooklyn guy, he knew most of the people in the Lucchese family, like Big John, Mikey DeSantis, and Georgie Nexapola, who he referred to as a person that always wanted to kill people, a pupil of Gaspipe School. Ralphie had a Jewish guy who owned a solar panel business. On one occasion, we went out to Westchester to see the guy because Ralphie wanted him to meet me. According to Ralphie, a guy by the name of Rocco that Ralphie knew was extorting the Jewish guy. When we went to meet with the Jewish guy, I could tell in the conversation that he was scared of this Rocco. And Ralphie told him that I was going to handle Rocco. Ralphie wanted me to go talk to the guy and told me that he could be found in this Lynbrook pizzeria on Fridays. I don't know if he was an owner or had a piece of the place, but he wanted me to go see Rocco and tell him that the Jewish guy was with me. Initially, I was going to do it. Obviously, there was money involved, which would be coming from the Jewish guy. Nonetheless, after taking time to think about it, I began to question Ralphie's intentions. Here's why. He was a Colombo member and never indicated that Rocco was the member of any family, so the advantage was in his favor. In addition, why would Ralphie need me to go tell a guy that the Jewish guy was with me? He already mentioned the guy was with him, so why not go to Rocco, who you know, and tell him to stay away from the guy? Something didn't add up. In that world, you have to be conscious of everything. If you're oblivious, in the blink of an eye, you'll be put in a trick bag. So I began making myself too busy for Ralphie. Fast forward. In a previous video, I've spoken about meeting an Ndrangheta clan one night in Rosemary's in Farmingdale. Well, the boss of that clan, his name was Rocco. Not exactly the Rocco I've been speaking about, but not so fast. One afternoon, I went to see John DiLorenzo, the owner of Rosemary's, and previously I had mentioned the pizzeria to see if he knew the guy. So that afternoon he tells me, "Do you remember the guy you met in here one night, Rocco?" And I said I remembered him. He smiled at me. "Guess who he came here with the other day? Your friend Ralphie and his nephew Rocco from the pizzeria in Lynbrook." Rocco, that Ralphie wanted me to put in his place, was the nephew of Rocco the clan boss. But it gets better. He told me that Rocco the clan boss was yelling in Italian the entire time at Ralphie, and that Ralphie just had his head down, and at some point he just left. So I told John what Ralphie wanted me to do, and he said I was smart not to get involved. Obviously. I'll end with this. Ask me if Ralphie ever mentioned his meeting with Rocco the clan boss, even knowing John DiLorenzo was going to tell me. Not a word.